What's going on, everyone? It's Chris from 416 Coffee, and this is episode 43 of Coffee with Chris. Now, in this episode, I wanted to explain the difference between pour-over or drip-style brewers and immersion-style brewers. So, pour-over brewers include Chemex, Kalita Wave, V60, Kinto slow drippers, anything where gravity is taking the water through the coffee grinds, through some sort of filter, and into the vessel that you're serving it. And immersion brewers is pretty much French press, steep and release brewers like the Clever Dripper, and your AeroPress. And these brewers is when you have the coffee grounds immersed in water, and then, submerged, and then you're using force to press them either through a filter or through some sort of filtering device. So what is the difference between these two brewers? Should you get one or the other style of brewer? So first off, pour over brewers are going to do a really good job of giving you a very clean cup of coffee, which means it's because they're usually using paper filters, they're going to take a good amount of body and potential sediment out of the coffee. And what they're going to do is they're going to highlight complexity inside of the coffee very well. So they're going to highlight all those nuances that we like from origin coffees, fruity tones, citrusy tones, tones that are challenging to get out of coffees. Pour overs are going to do a great job of getting those, assuming you're using the right technique. Now, the problem with pour overs is you get complexity in the cup, but the process is more complex. So you're doing blooms, you're doing certain kettle circles, you got to avoid channeling where your coffee bed's breaking down and water's running through, and you have to really kind of play with grind and recipe until you get something that works for a pour over. So there's added complexity here. You are rewarded when you get it right with a more complex cup of coffee. Now, steep and release or immersion brewers, they're great because they give you a lot of body. So when we say body in the coffee industry, we're talking about palate feel. So something like a French press is going to give you a nice heavy palate feel, where a Chemex is going to give you something more light, less going on the palate. The good thing about these style of brewers, is that they're going to give you a great cup of coffee, they're going to give you heavy palate feel, and they're not super hard to use. I mean, once you get the ratio straight, it's pretty simple from there. There's not a lot that can go wrong. The only issue you have to worry about is controlling your brew time with these brewers. So brew time is more important here, where you have to think about, okay, how long am I going to let the coffee and water mingle for before I begin the actual extraction of liquid into whatever vessel I'm drinking from. So I'd say that if you're someone who likes big-bodied coffees, you like a heavy palate feel, and you don't want to get into the minutia and all the details involved with doing something more complex, I'd start with immersion style brewers. They're easier to use. You can get consistent results much easier with a brewer that is an immersion style brewer. So like I said, French press, AeroPress, Clever Dripper, any of those kind of things. Now, if you're someone who's got some extra time, you want to do something maybe super special, kind of make a whole ceremony out of it, pour overs are great. They're going to give you a great cup of coffee. In my opinion, I prefer the coffee from a pour over device better than an immersion brewer, only slightly, and most of the time. But this is going to make a great cup of coffee fast. This is going to make an excellent cup of coffee. It's going to take more time, and it does take you a while before you can get great results consistently from your pour over brewers. It's going to take some time playing with it, dialing it in, right? But once you do get it dialed in, it's going to be perfect, and it's going to be incredible. So bottom line is, if you're in a hurry, if you need something fast that you're going to get to consistently quickly, I'd start with an immersion brewer. If it's your first kind of special brewer, I'd start with an immersion brewer. I did another video where I said AeroPress is the greatest kind of brewer to start with because they're easy to use, consistent results, great taste. But once if you find out you really enjoy coffee and you're down for taking a bit more time to make your coffee, then I'd move over to some pour over brewers. And then you can kind of get into all the minutiae and the details here. And then if you really want to commit yourself to a ridiculous amount of time and a pursuit that'll never end, you can get into espresso, but that's a topic for another video. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know which style of brewer you prefer in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.